So here we are again to our science class, and this video will be our part 2 for our lesson in genetics. Now on the last and on our previous discussion on the part 1, we just simply review the Mendelian inheritance using the Punnett square or using the monohybrid cross. So inaral natin sa lesson natin nung first video kung paano tayo mag-monohybrid cross. Nireview natin si monohybrid cross kasi gagamitin natin siya ngayon in our new topic. So the topic for this video would all about be non-Mendelian inheritance. In the non-Mendelian inheritance, we will talk about the incomplete dominance, codominance, and the multiple alleles. And let's get started! So let us first talk about the incomplete dominance. In the incomplete dominance, it is a type of non-Mendelian inheritance that shows phenotype that is intermediate from the two homozygous phenotype, which is turned to be called as the third phenotype. So what does this incomplete dominance means? Meaning to say, if we crossbreed two alleles of different traits. For example, we're talking about the color of the flower, and we have two colors of the flower. What happens to the result is it's intermediate. When we say intermediate, for example, we use a white flower and a red flower. So instead of showing red or instead of showing white from the result, what happens is the color intermediate between the red and the white will become its result. So meaning, hindi pula, hindi rin kulay puti ang makikita mong bulaklak. Instead, yung kulay na nasa gitna nilang dalawa. So if we are to use a color and you combine red with white, so medyo maglalight ngayon yung pagkapula. And what happens is nagiging color pink yung kulay. So meaning to say, in the incomplete dominance, what happens in the result is another color of the flower. So meaning you produce another set of color from the cross that you have made between the red and the white. So meaning to say, nakapag-produce ka ng tinatawag nating third phenotype. When we say third phenotype, nag-produce ka ng panibagong kulay na wala dun sa pinag-crossbreed mo na kulay red and white. So since the color produced between the red and the white is color pink, then that is now our third phenotype. Kasi ang first and second phenotype natin is the red and the white. Wala dun yung kulay pink. And pink is considered now as the third phenotype. Ano ba yung phenotype? Sabi natin in the first part of our video, the phenotype is referring to the expression of the trait. Sabihin, ano ba yung ina-express natin ditong trait? Which is color. And what is that color? It's the red and the white. Since wala sa red, wala sa white, ang lumabas na kulay, naging kulay pink, then that is now our third phenotype. So let us have an example in the incomplete dominance. So we may now understand it more about the incomplete dominance. So this would be now our example for the incomplete dominance. For the allele, we will still use the color of the flower, and we're referring to the red and the white flower. So we have white versus red. So we are to crossbreed a red and a white flower, and we will identify the resulting color of the flower. So since we're talking about incomplete dominance, then supposed to be the result will become its third phenotype, which is, sabi natin kanina, color pink. Now take note in the incomplete dominance. For the incomplete dominance, wala na tayong tatawagin na dominant and recessive. You take note of the word blending. Yun. Yung salitang blending, meaning to say, yung nangyayari sa incomplete dominance is nagbe-blend yung kulay na puti sa kulay na pula. Nung naghalo sila, nung nag-blending sila, dun tayo nakapag-produce nung tinatawag natin third phenotype, at nung nag-blend nga sila, ang naging kulay is color pink. So since kahit alam na natin ang resulta, we still have to use our Punnett square in order to identify the result between the white and the red. So, lagyan natin ngayon ng genotype si red at si white. So, since wala tayong dominant, wala tayong recessive, walang small letter, lahat ng gagamitin nating letter is a capital letter. So, for the white, I want to use a genotype W as letter. So, we have W for the white. And for the red, I will use the first letter of the word, which is R. So we have R as the genotype for the red. So let us crossbreed the white and the red flower using our Punnett square. So kaya nireview natin si Punnett square at si monohybrid cross on the first part of our video para dito dire-diretso na natin siyang gagawin. So ilagay natin sa taas si white. So we have W, and then on the side, doon natin ilagay si red, which is R. Now, question. Pwede ko bang pagpalitin silang dalawa? Pwede ko bang ilagay sa taas si RR? Pwede ko bang ilagay sa tagiliran si WW? Yes, you may. Pwedeng kahit sa taas o sa tagiliran mo ilagay, kahit magkapalit sila ng pwesto, because the answer will still be the same. Yung letter lang yung nagkakapalit ng pwesto. But still, yung genotype natin is yun pa rin. Yun pa rin ang magiging sagot. Now, lagyan na natin ng laman yung Punnett square natin. So, on the first box, the answer is coming again from the letter from the top and the letter from its side. So, yung nasa taas natin is W, yung nasa tabi natin is R. So, we have W, box, we have W at the top and R on its side. So that is now our Punnett square with the white and the red flower. So after that we have the Punnett square, immediately we are to identify the genotype and the phenotypic ratio. Now on the genotype and the phenotypic ratio, again, on the genotypic ratio, anong tinitingnan natin? We are looking at the letters. So, yung letters na na-produce natin on our Punnett square, so that would be our basis to form the genotypic ratio. So, since obviously we have only one set of letters na nakikita sa ating Punnett square, which is all W, R, and we only have 4 boxes, so our ratio will become 4:0. 4 kasi 4 yung magkakaparehas, 0 kasi wala yung naiiba. So that is now our ratio for the genotypic ratio. Then, lagyan natin ng pangalan. We have 4 W R. Meron tayong 4 na klaseng W R for our Punnett square. Then, after that, we have our phenotypic ratio, genotypic ratio, so we have now the phenotypic ratio. On the phenotypic ratio, ang titingnan naman natin is the expression of the trait. Yung expression of the trait, meaning to say, doon na tayo sa trait na pinag-uusapan natin, which is the color of the flower, the red, the white, and the resulting blending of the color, which is color pink. Now, on the phenotypic ratio, since 4 yung magkakaparehas natin, then we also have the ratio of 4:0. Then, lagyan natin ng pangalan. Anong kulay yung 4? Anong kulay yung 4 na yon? So, the color of those 4 in our Punnett square, we have WW is white, RR is red. So, what would be the color of WR? So, the color of WR is the blending of the white and the red, which is the intermediate color, yung kulay na nasa gitna nila, which is again color pink. So we have 4 pink flowers from the cross between the white and the red flower. Now, if you would notice, on the genotypic ratio, wala na tayong nilagay na homozygous dominant, heterozygous dominant, wala na rin tayong nilagay na homozygous recessive. Now, bakit hindi na natin siya nilagyan ng ganun? Although we can see that this is a different letters, WR, so obviously it is a heterozygous. But, no need to say for the dominant and recessive, since sabi natin kanina in the incomplete dominance, wala nang dominant, wala nang recessive, kasi ang pinopoint natin in the incomplete dominance is that walang makikitang pula, walang makikitang puti sa resulta. Hindi mo mababakas o wala kang makikitang kahit anong bakas sa naging resulta ng anak na may pula at may puti. Because it is a blended one. So, wala nang dominant, wala nang recessive. That's why the genotype would be as simple as 4WR and the phenotype would be as simple as 4 pink. Diretso dun sa kulay na na-produce. So, that would be our incomplete dominance. Ano pang napansin natin with the genotype and the phenotype? You always take note that if we're talking about the incomplete dominance, the genotypic ratio is also the same with its phenotypic ratio. Palagi silang magka-parehas. Kung 4:0 ang genotype natin, so we also have 4:0 for the phenotype. That is also just the same. Hindi kagaya nung inaral natin nung last time with the monohybrid cross na magkaiba minsan si genotype sa phenotypic ratio. Pero para hindi tayo malito, wag na natin balikan yung idea ngayon. So, ang tandaan natin ngayon, since the focus of our discussion and the focus of our module is about the incomplete dominance. So, ito yung tandaan natin ngayon, that the genotype and the phenotype of our incomplete dominance is always just the same. Now, what if percentage ang tinatanong sa'yo? So, since 4, so we have the percentage of 100%. 100% are W. Then, for the phenotypic ratio, we also have 100% color pink. So, that would be our genotypic percentage and phenotypic percentage. So, this is how easy an incomplete dominance is. Basta alam mo lang yung magiging intermediate ng dalawa. Kung magaling naman tayo sa colors, pag kinombine natin ang red at yellow, what will be produced with red and yellow? Color? Orange? Hindi sure eh. Pag kinombine natin si yellow at si blue, so we will produce a green. Then if we combine the blue and the red, so ano magpo-produce natin? We have violet. So meaning to say, iisipin lang natin yung magiging kulay sa gitna. As simple as white and black, we will produce gray. Such like that. So that is how what is meant by the incomplete dominance. So just always take note that incomplete dominance is about blending. Paghahalo ng dalawang kulay na hindi mo halos mababakas. Sino bang magulang nito? Hindi ko halos makita yung pink, hindi mo halos makita yung red, hindi mo halos makita yung white because they're totally blended. Halos halong-halo na hindi mo ma-identify kung saan siya nanggaling na parent. If that's so, then that is what we call as incomplete dominance. Now, let's have more examples about the incomplete dominance. So, kanina, in-identify natin in our first example is the result between the red and the white, which is color pink. Now, on our next example, we are now to make use of our third phenotype. So, paano kung third phenotype na ngayon ang gagamitin natin? And we will cross the third phenotype with our first and second phenotype. So, for example, we will now crossbreed a pink flower with a red flower. So, ano kayang kalalabasan ng crossbreed natin kung isang pink at isang red ang ating i-crossbreed? So, unat higit sa lahat, anong dapat mong alamin? The genotype. Kasi hindi ka makakapag-crossbreed kung hindi mo alam ang genes na iyong ipag-crossbreed. So, if we're talking about the pink, sabi natin on our first cross, o dun sa una nating example, the genotype of the pink is W R. So, yun na yung gagamitin natin genotype para sa kanya. Then, the red will still be R and R. So, that would be now our parents. We have RW for WR for the pink and RR for the red. So for us to know the result of the red and the pink, I will use again a Punnett square. Now, you at home, our dear students, you may also have your own answers in your sheet of paper or in your notebook in science while you're listening to the discussion. Para habang nagbibigay na ako ng instructions na ipagko-crossbreed, nakakapagsagot na kayo sa inyo, and then check it later after that I have shown the result of the answers. Now, balik tayo dito. So we have WR and RR. So, ilalagay ko sa ibabaw si pink. Pero pwede mo naman siyang ilagay sa tagilid. It's up to you kung saan mo siya gusto ilagay. Still, the result will just be the same. So, for example, lagay ko siya sa taas. I have WR at the top. And then, I have RR on the side. So, what would be our answer for the first box? Yung letter sa taas, which is W, at yung letter sa tagiliran, which is R. And R as well on its side. So this is now the result of our cross using Punnett square. And obviously, nakikinikinito na natin the genotypic ratio and the phenotypic ratio. Now, from the cross that we have made between the pink flower and the white flower, let us identify first the genotype. Again, on the genotypic ratio, saan tayo titingin? We will take a look on the letters that we have produced from our Punnett square. So, ito yung letters natin sa Punnett square. Now, tingnan natin mabuti yung WR. Meron ka pa bang nakikitang ibang WR sa loob ng Punnett square? May kagaya pa ba siya? Yes. May WR tayo dito sa baba. May iba pa bang WR? So, wala na. So, meron tayong dalawang WR. So, since sabi natin, on the genotypic ratio, ang titingnan natin is the letter. So, we have 2 WR. Then, proceed tayo dun sa isa pang set ng letters na nakikita natin sa Punnett square. Now, inside the Punnett square, meron tayong nakikitang R. May iba pa bang RR? Yes, may RR tayo dito sa baba. So, para tayo naglalaro ng bingo. Pag sasama-samahin mo yung magkakaparehas, ay parang hindi pala bingo yun. Parang ibang laro pala yun. Basta ang point is, identify mo yung magkakaparehas mong letter inside your Punnett square. Lalo't higit, assorted na yung laman ng Punnett square. On our first example kasi, we just have all the same set of letters on our Punnett square para parehas yung apat. So, since ngayon, assorted na yung laman ng Punnett square natin, may naiiba na, so kailangan mong gawa ng konting diskarte para hindi ka makalimot. So, since ang ginawa kong diskarte is legend, sa WR, ginawa kong legend is square, para kita ko, alin pa dun sa Punnett square ko, yung hindi ko pa naiisama sa bilang. Then, if we have 2 WR, balik tayo sa genotypic ratio, we have also 2 is 2, kasi ratio, 2 R. So that would be our genotypic ratio. We have 2 WR is to 2 RR. Or, if percentage yung hinihingi sa'yo on the answers, then the percentage would be tigkalahati ng 100%. So we have 50% WR and 50% for the RR. So that would be our genotypic ratio. On the genotypic ratio, we just focus on the letters in our Punnett square, or the letters or the genes that we use for the white, for the pink and the red. So after that, we have identified the genotypic ratio, so you may now proceed to the phenotypic ratio. Nasabi natin on our first example, whatever is your genotypic ratio is also your phenotypic ratio. So if we have 50% of RW, we also have 50% of RR, so we will have the same set of phenotypic ratio. Anong kulay ba yung WR? We have pink. So we have 2 pink is to 2. Anong kulay ba yung RR? RR is red, so we have 2 red. Kung ang hinihingi sa atin is ratio. Kung ang hinihingi naman sa'yo is percentage, so we have 50% pink and 50% red. So that will be our answer for our example number 2, crossbreeding a pink and a red flower under incomplete dominance. It is as easy as that. Now, for your turn, I want you to crossbreed 2 pink flowers. So try it on your own, and then we'll show the answers later. Again, crossbreed 2 pink flowers. Okay, all done with the incomplete dominance. I hope that you really get the idea of the incomplete dominance. Now, we will proceed to the second non-Mendelian inheritance, which is called codominance. In the codominance, from the word itself, dominance, there is no dominant and recessive again in this trait, but the both allele of the parents, both, ibig sabihin parehas, both allele of the parents will both seen in the result or in the offspring. Anong ipinagkaiba ni incomplete dominance sa codominance? In the incomplete dominance, the allele of the parents are blended or mixed. Naghahalo, nagbe-blend, at lumalabas yung kulay na sa gitna nilang dalawa, which is yung kulay pink nga sa pula at sa puti. Now, on codominance, what happens is that yung parents natin ay parehas mong makikita on the result. So, if you would notice, may mga klase tayo ng balat ng aso o kulay ng aso na may mga tinatawag tayong patak-patak na parang yung sikat na pinapanood nating Dalmatians. Now, on the Dalmatians, obviously, you will see there a white and a black color on their skin. May patak-patak silang kulay. Meaning to say, it is obviously that the parent of that specific dog is coming from a black and a white dog. Na nung nag-combine silang dalawa, nung nag-cross silang dalawa, ang nangyari, hindi gray ang lumabas. Sa incomplete dominance yun. But what happened is that both the color of black and white is both seen in the offspring. Kaya meron tayo ng mga tinatawag na paltak-paltak ang kulay na nakikita mo parehas yung kulay dun sa balat nung aso or other animals. So let us have an example of codominance. Okay, so let us talk more about codominance. So sabi natin kanina, in the codominance, it is the expression of both alleles of the parents. Kumbaga, kung anong trait ng magulang ay parehas na nakikita dun sa naging offspring or dun sa naging anak. So let us have an example of a cattle or baka. Yan. For example, meron tayong black cow. So gamitin na natin is cow. So halimbawa, meron akong alagang baka. Ang kulay ng aking baka is black. Pure black yung baka ko na inaalagaan. And then, yung aking baka, for example, is babae. Then, yung kapitbahay namin, for example, meron din siyang alagang baka na nagkataon lalaki. But the color of my neighbor's cow is color white. Yan. So dahil I wanted to reproduce another set of cow na alagaan, I crossbreed my black cow with my neighbor's cow, which is color white. So, kinrossbreed ko ngayon yung baka kong kulay itim dun sa kapitbahay, dun sa baka ng aking kapitbahay na kulay white. So, now, what would be the resulting color of the offspring of the white and the black cow if they are crossed? So, since we're talking about the term codominance, in the codominance, sabi, both allele of the parents should be seen in the offspring. So, kung meron akong black, I will use a genotype of BB for the black cow. So, this is the genotype of the black. Then, I will use WW for the genotype of the white cow. Now, I will crossbreed the two cow and identify the result of the cross. Okay, so let us now have the cross between the black cow and the white cow. Lagay ko ngayon sa taas si black, which is B. Then lagay ko sa tagiliran si white, which is W. So, parang halos kagaya din naman nung ginawa nating example sa incomplete dominance, pero ang naiiba lang is the genotype and the phenotype. Now, on the codominance, sinasabi natin, the resulting color should be seen both in the offspring. So, instead of saying black and white, ang na-produce is gray, so incomplete dominance yun, hindi yun codominance. So, para masabi natin that this is codominance, then, on the genotypic ratio, white. So, ang na-produce ko ngayon is black and white cow. Yung may paltak-paltak na baka na itim at puti. Pwedeng majority ay puti na may paltak-paltak na itim, or pwede rin namang majority is black na may paltak-paltak na puti. So, that is what meant by codominance. When we say codominance, both allele of the parents should be seen. Kumbaga, ang kulay ng anak ay halatang-halata mo kung saan nanggaling. Okay, so now from the result of our cross between the black cow and the white cow, so it is obviously that we have produced the black and white cow. We have 4 black and white cow produced from a black cow and a white cow. Now, what if on the second round, so since nagkaroon na ng anak yung baka, at lumaki na, for example, ulit yung mga anak na baka, I wanted naman now to crossbreed black and white with another black and white. So, yung parang ginawa natin na example kanina with pink versus pink, now, what we will do now is to crossbreed black and white with another black and white cow. Okay, so let us now crossbreed 2 black and white cows, which is the result from our parent of black and white. So, what if naman yung anak na black and white, saka po black and white, ay ating i-crossbreed? So, what will happen with the result of our offspring? So, let us have the genotype of black and white, which is BW, will be crossed into another black and white cow, which has the genotype also of BB. W. So, lagay natin sa taas. White. So, meaning to say, when we crossbreed, the resulting codominance, which is black and white, doon natin makikita yung pinanggalingan na parent, which is the black and the white. So, dun lalabas ulit yung original na kulay ng parent na pure black and pure white once that we have crossbreed the two-third phenotype. Okay? So, that would be for the codominance. Parang nag-produce din ng ikatlong phenotype kasi wala naman sa pamimilian na black and white ang black and white. Kaya parang may third phenotype tayo pero hindi natin siya consider as third phenotype kasi yung naging resulta lang naman is a combination na parehas silang nandun. Hindi naman tayo nag-produce ng panibago talagang kulay. Instead, yung resulta na ginawa natin, parehas na makikita mo yung black at yung white. In short, parang nagkaroon ka nga ng resultang paltak-paltak ang kulay ng hayop or kung anumang ginamit natin sa crossbreed. It may be a flower kasi kung mapapansin natin sa paligid, meron din tayong makikitang bulaklak na may paltak-paltak na kulay na iba-iba. Or for example is sa hayop, aso, pusa, baka, kalabaw, or other animals that you may see na may mga paltak-paltak na kulay na hindi pure na isang kulay lang ang nakikita mo. So, meaning to say, it's an example of codominance. And that is for the codominance. So, for the codominance, we just simply stated that codominance is showing both allele of the parents in the offspring. And we're almost done with the two non-Mendelian inheritance, which are the incomplete dominance and codominance. Now, let's move on to the discussion on the multiple alleles, which is the non-Mendelian inheritance. So let us use the blood type to explain about the multiple alleles, and on this part, we will identify first the genotype and the phenotype of our blood types A, B, and O. In identifying the genotype, we will make use the letter I. Capital I for the dominant and a small letter I for the recessive. Now, on the multiple alleles, one of the difference between the incomplete dominance and codominance is that in our multiple alleles, the dominant and the recessive will now come back. Sabihin, in the multiple alleles, merong dominant at merong recessive. And on this part, in our blood type, type A and type B are the dominant blood types, and type O is the only recessive blood type in our types of blood. Okay, so mean to say, si type A at si type B ang dominant, kaya ang gagamitin nating letter sa kanya is capital I. Then, on our recessive is the small letter I. Now, on blood type A, meron tayong homozygous ulit at heterozygous. Since bumabalik ulit si dominant at si recessive, so meron ulit tayong genotypic na homozygous and heterozygous. Now, for the homozygous type A, we will make use of 2 capital I. Paano mo ngayon malalaman na siya ay blood type A? Now, using both capital letter I, lalagyan natin ng superscript na letter A. So, since superscript, dito natin siya ilalagay sa taas. So, this would be the genotype of a blood type A that is homozygous. Then, this is our homozygous blood type A. Then, what would be our heterozygous blood type A? So, kung heterozygous, one is capital and the other one would be a small letter. So, this one, in the capital letter, we will have a superscript of letter A to represent it as blood type A. Then, we will put a small letter I. And that is now our heterozygous blood type A. And that would be the same thing for the blood type B. Ang mangyayari, papalitan mo lang yung letter sa superscript ng tinutukoy mong blood type. So, if it is blood type B, then you just simply put B on the superscript. And that is now our homozygous blood type B. So, this is type B and this is type A, whether it is homozygous or a heterozygous. Then, for the heterozygous blood type B, so we use again capital I, then, lagyan mo ng superscript na B para ma-represent na siya blood type B, and then a small letter I to show that it is a heterozygous. Kasi sabi natin sa heterozygous, it is a different letters of one capital and one small letter. Ang pinagkaiba lang natin sa blood type A with blood type B is the superscript na A or B, just to represent if it is type A or type B. Then pagdating naman sa type O, since it's a recessive, then we only have as simple as 2 small letter I to make it as a recessive type O. Then, may isa pa tayong nadagdag na klase ng blood type, which is blood type. So, this is type O. So, meron tayong nadagdag na isang blood type, which is type AB. In the blood type AB, we have 2 capital letters of letter I. One letter I will be as A, and the other letter I will be as B. So that would be the genotype for the blood type AB. Kasi yung blood type AB is a combination of a blood type A and a blood type B. Nung pinag-combine silang dalawa, one letter I is for the A and the other one is for the B. So this would be the genotype and the phenotype for the blood. Okay, so let us use the example of the blood type to represent the discussion in our multiple alleles. Now, if you can see, yung Punnett square natin, hindi na 4 na box lang. So, yung ating Punnett square is adjusted into 9 boxes, 3 by 3. Kasi, yung ating gagamitin na allele ay 3. So, yung box natin in the Punnett square ay ma-adjust sa 3 din. Para magkasya yung ating crossbreed na type A, B, and O with type A, B, and O. But this is just an example para makita natin yung cross between the types A, B, and O. So from our previous video, pinakita na natin dun the genotype and the phenotype of the blood types A, B, and O. So again, ang ginagamit natin na letter to represent the blood type is letter I. 2 capital I for the dominant and small letter I is used for the recessive, and the only recessive type of blood is type O. So, dun lang natin gagamitin yung ating maliit na letter. So, let us have first the first box. So, we have type A versus type A. So, we have 2 capital I kasi parehas A yung ating allele. So, we have type A and type A. Parehas capital letter I. Now, on the second box, we have B and A. So, lagyan mo ulit ng dalawang malaking letter I. One is A, the other one is B. Pwede rin namang mabaliktad na BA, pwede rin namang AB. Now, on the third box, one is letter A, then O is a recessive, so we use a small letter I. So, yan yung itsura ng ating heterozygous type A. Ibig sabihin ng heterozygous type A ay galing sa crossbreed na A at O. Since O is a recessive, we use a small letter I, and that is now the equivalent for the heterozygous type A. Next, we have type A and type B. Galing dito. And then on the next box, we have capital I, type B, yun nasa taas, type B, yun nasa tabi. So, we have homozygous type B. Then, on the last box, we have type B and type O. So, yun ngayon yung equivalent value ng heterozygous type B. Na ang heterozygous type B ay galing sa type B and type O. And then the last box, we have A and a recessive type O. Then, on the second box, we have type B and a recessive type O. And on the last box is O and O. That's both recessive of small letter I. So, yan yung example natin. If we are to crossbreed all the blood types A, B, and O. So, let us have an example for the multiple alleles using the blood type. So, the situation is, for example, a woman with a heterozygous blood type B is married to a homozygous blood type A. So, what would be the blood type of their offspring? So, using the Punnett square, we will identify the offspring of a heterozygous blood type B and a homozygous blood type A. Okay, so this is now our situation. A mother with a heterozygous blood type B is married to a homozygous blood type A, and let us identify their offspring. At the top, let us put the mother of heterozygous blood type B, and on the side is the homozygous blood type A father. So on the first box, we have side, we have a capital I with a letter A. So let us now identify the genotype and the phenotypic ratio. Now, on the genotype, A. So, meaning to say, once that a heterozygous blood type B woman is married to a homozygous blood type A, the resulting offspring is 2 type AB and 2 type A. Obviously, wala tayong AB sa magulang. Walang type AB. But since there are existing blood type of B and A, so it is possible for having a blood type A, B. Kahit pa sa magulang ay walang direktang AB, since ang kinrossbreed naman natin ay A at B, so posibleng may lumabas na AB. Then, we also produce 2 types A. Kasi si father is a homozygous blood type A. Kaya matapang yung dugo ng type A. Kasi homozygous o purong type A yung nasa father. While on the mother, nahaluan tayo ng recessive type O. Pero kahit may recessive type O, walang lumabas dahil masyadong pure heterozygous yung blood type A ni father. So this would be the example of having a multiple allele. Okay, another example. What if a homozygous recessive woman, type O obviously, is married to a heterozygous blood type A man? So ano naman kaya ang result na lalabas once that they have crossed? Okay, so this is our example number 2 for the multiple alleles. So what if the mother is a recessive type O married to a man that is a heterozygous blood type A? So what is now the result of their offspring's blood type? So let us put the mother of recessive type O at the top and the father of heterozygous blood type A. So on the first box, we have small letter I and another small letter I. So kitang-kita naman sa resulta ng ating cross na on the genotypic ratio, we have just produced O blood. So in this video, we have just discussed about the non-Mendelian inheritance. In the non-Mendelian inheritance, nag-exist siya kasi on the latter part of the discussion from the Mendel's idea, some scientists just realize na may kulang sa explanation ni Mr. Gregor Mendel. And yun na nga yung diniscuss natin today, which is about the incomplete dominance, the codominance, and the multiple alleles. Those are some of the explanations that is happening within the genetics na failed to explain by Mr. Gregor Mendel. And I hope on this video you just learned about the non-Mendelian inheritance, specifically the 3 non-Mendelian inheritance such as incomplete dominance, codominance, and the multiple alleles. Although, yung diniscuss natin on the first part about the Mendelian inheritance or the monohybrid cross, tama naman yun, wala namang mali doon. It is just that may kulang lang na explanation na in-explain natin today, such as the blending of the colors of the result, the combination of the result, and as well as the multiple alleles na nag-exist sa atin. Well, I hope that this would be clear to you on the discussion about the incomplete dominance, which is the blending of the alleles, codominance, which is about the existence of both allele in the offspring, and the multiple alleles of having more than 2 phenotypes. So I hope this video will again help you in your modules in science for the 4th week. So again, thank you for listening to our lecture on the non-Mendelian inheritance, and stay tuned for the next videos on genetics. Thank you, God bless, and stay safe everyone!